So, the question before our little parliament here is, so now there are like two choices, if you see them as choices. One is that you're trying to do your spiritual practice as a human being. So in other words, the one in charge of your spiritual practice from one point of view is this part of you. Your human part, your personality part. And the other possibility, if you see it, is not to eliminate this, but to add this. To add your clear part as well. So, what would be the virtue of adding your clear part to this scenario? What would that give you that just working from your personality side wouldn't give you?
Clear, centered.
More clear, more centered. This would be the first thing. So then there would be some hope that this side could kind of be whispering in the ear of this one. And kind of talking yourself down from all of this thing going on. That would be the one thing for sure, is that some good advice or help would flow from here to here. Any other thoughts about why? Or the other side is, what happens when you're trying to do your spiritual practice only from here?
It's too much clutter.
You're in your story. You're working
Too much clutter, you're in your storyline, and you're trying hard. This is one of the dilemmas with spiritual practice, trying to do it from here, is you're always trying hard. Because is it true that what we've been taught is to try hard in general?
But which direction?
Well, this is the thing. In any direction, you've got to try hard though. Right? This is the dilemma, is that there's that trying carries a charge. That charge is like static on the wires. Especially when you're meditating. Okay, now so what do you get when you're trying hard when you're meditating? Because you're trying hard to get out of that.
You're just bringing it along with you.
more thoughts.
This is it, you bring it along with you. So now you just turned recess into detention. Right? You actually had 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes where you were free from your storyline. And now you turn around, you drag your storyline in, so now you've just turned recess into detention. And you're worried if you're going to get it right or do it right. What a shame. And all the clutter that's characteristic of your storyline has now been dragged in to a place where for a little while, hey, maybe you could have done without it. Also, there's the thing that we talked about before the video came on, is it true that in the course of doing your spiritual practice, your personality often slips into a judgmental mode?
In and out.
In and out. Mm-hmm. All the time. So what would, in the course of your spiritual practice, what would your personality be judgmental about?
Nothing's happening. Not doing it right.
Not doing it right. And now if you align yourself with a certain group, then your group must be better than some other group. Right?
And you're being not doing, so that's, maybe there's a judgment there too.
Sure. Because we're based in doing. And we're based in improvement. Right? So, now think of the improvement model for a second. So, when will improvement happen, by definition?
When we've improved.
In the future, right?
In the future.
When you improve, when you do the right things. So the improvement model is based in some moment other than this one. And by definition, if you're going to improve in the future, what does that say about your present moment?
Not good enough.
Not good enough. True or false? The improvement model is endless and not guaranteed also.
True.
Yeah.
So then in that improvement model, will you be good enough in the second moment?
Never.
Third moment, fourth moment?
Yes.
Never.
Never be perfect.
So you'll never be good enough.
Because you already are.
And also, you will carry that feeling of not being good enough during your whole process of spiritual practice. So now you practice for 20 years or 30 years, and the whole time you're thinking you're not good enough. What a shame. Right? Otherwise, maybe it could be a nice time. Or at least, if not nice, at least you could be receptive to having a little look at what's going on in here. Okay? It may not all be pleasant, but it might be worth getting to the bottom of what this whole thing about being a people pleaser is about. Or what this whole thing about self-doubt is about. Or what this whole thing about blame and guilt is all about. Okay? So that's another part, is if you're practicing from here, true or false, there are things that your personality really doesn't want to look at.
True.
So this is a very bad thing for the scientific inquiry, right? A disinclination to examine data. Because this side is deflecting, it's avoiding, it's hiding, it's distorting. And now how are you going to make any kind of plan or practice based on distorted information? Can't. Or at least you can, but it'll be distorted. True or false, your personality has definite ideas of preferred outcomes.
Oh, yeah.
So now, if it has an idea of preferred outcome, isn't it true that it will have a disinclination to look at certain information and an inclination to overemphasize other information to suit its model? So it's not really neutral in its practice. It's not really neutral in its inquiry. True or false? The personality has an inclination to be sidetracked. Okay, you start out with the best of intentions, and self-sabotage and stuff from outside and old stuff, fear about the future. So this to me is why you need some part of yourself. Happily, you already have this part. But in English, we don't have a word for clear self. Right? We have no word, we have no idea. Now we might have an idea, but isn't it true that emotionally and mentally you're invested here in being this person? And you live and die by the outcome of what happens here. Is that right? Well, this is where we're invested. And because you're invested, this skews your vision. Okay? Hope and fear, they both obscure your vision. So if you add this clear part, then it's like you've just added a personal trainer, because this part of you knows everything about you. Okay? Your clear part knows every single thing about your personality, because it's been there the whole time. This one has nothing else to do but help you out, if you let it. True or false? Your personality has quite a bit to do. Okay? From the most mundane to the deepest. So it's already overburdened. But this is what we know to do. And we try and apply the improvement model. The improvement model is mostly based on doing, not being. So now you give your spiritual practice to your personality as one more thing to do. Or one more thing to feel guilty about not doing. Or one more thing to feel bad about not doing well. And you're still chasing some carrot in the future about who you could be or what you could be.
It's like your true desire of what you want.
Mm-hmm. The beauty to me is that if everything worked out perfectly according to what your personality wanted, it would resemble this. And the thing is, you already have this. So here we end up chasing something. This one, you already have it. You can use it. You can use it for your benefit.
That's confusing too, because the clear self is all about not doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it is
You
doing.
always have to do.
I don't think it's about not doing. I think it's about not settling for reactive doing.
Or outcomes.
Yes, this one is also based on outcomes. And if it works out the way you like, it's great. And if it doesn't work out the way you like, you suffer. And this one, I believe, has more of a inquiring mind.
More fluid.
More fluid, for sure. This is the other part, and we discussed this the last session, that your clear part has one primary sorting basket. It's called now this. Oh, now this. Out of now this, you move naturally and easily to whatever proactive action you might take based on the now this. And when that action is fairly clean and clear, then you're free again for the next now this, because there's always going to be something next, something next, something next.
So then it's accepting the impermanence of life.
Yes.
Easily.
Yes. Yes, so another
Because it
name,
comes.
yeah, that's another name for this clear part, is acceptance. Acceptance is not approval. Right? It's just that, oh, now this.
Watching.
Watching, and then out of the watching, making some evaluation about what's actually happening. And then based on what's actually happening, taking action if necessary. But there's a step before the knee-jerk reaction. Because this, your personality part often reacts out of old stuff. Somebody says something and it triggers something in you that reminds you of all the other times somebody else has said that kind of negative thing, and now you're down the rabbit hole of this. Even though that wasn't really your intention. So this part most clearly lines up with your intention for yourself. But this one, your personality is inclined to see it as a process, and that you're on the road to improvement. So now if you go into a room full of 1,000 spiritual people, and you ask, how many of you are free? I don't know, are any hands going to go up? You almost like you don't dare. Because this personality part of you knows all kinds of things about you that maybe other people don't even know, because some of them are happening on a thought form, or in the past, which you're hoping nobody finds out about. Right? But if you said to those people, how many of you are on the path to getting freer? Hey, and then everybody's, oh yeah, that's me, I'm on the path. No, what if you're already free? Then walking on the path is a much more pleasant experience. Or at least a deeper experience. It's not always pleasant, but it's a deeper experience. Whatever this one is, this is pretty narrow. And pretty restrictive and pretty limited. What a shame, because if these two could cooperate better, things would not only go better for you, but they would go better for everyone. Why don't we close our eyes for a couple of minutes? Thank you for listening to that and for your good answers. For the next few minutes, you have nothing else to do. For the next few minutes, there's nowhere else we have to be. Just by all of us coming together today, in the spirit of openness and peacefulness, our task has been fulfilled just by being here. And now that we're here, we don't really need to try hard. Now that we're here, we don't have to make great efforts. You're just present to yourself. And at this time, your personality is under no pressure. There's no opinion you need to hold. There's no persona you need to project. You're just breathing. Relaxing. And enjoying a few minutes of silence.